So Grace was designed and created from my own confusion, challenges, curiosity about what it means to be a woman in the world today. And from my own personal experience, that's where I started to go, what could I offer? Because I've been working in what I call the laboratory of human beings for 20 plus years as a coach, as a trainer, as a facilitator. What could I offer that would provide a learning environment for women to come back to their nature and authenticity about women and their wholeness? We're bombarded by information about who we should be as women, how we should be, how we should look, how we should behave. And so I provide a 3-day workshop where we come into a safe learning environment and begin to explore who we are as women by design, not by default. Not by the default the information and conditioning we get from society or the culture around us, but really begin to look at how do I design my life as a woman and what I value and what's important to me and celebrate that. So coming back to our nature. What's normal in our culture is not necessarily our nature. And so as women, we get to explore, ask questions, connect collectively to other women and begin to ask myself, who do I choose to be as a woman? And how do I design a life that I love as being a woman out in the world? That's where Grace came from and how I started to design it. So the technology, the methods, the learning practices, the dynamics that we use, very much the same between men and women. What's distinct and unique is women bring their own challenges, conversations, beliefs, things that they're challenged with in their life that's unique to women. And when women come together with women, we begin to feel like we belong. We begin to feel like I can relate to other women in a really powerful way, and I feel understood. I feel like I actually hear myself in the stories of other women, and as I share my own, we begin to connect and come together in what I like to call a sisterhood. And then the men, that's unique to them. Men bring a unique conversation and beliefs and behaviors and things they're challenged with as men, that then they get to bring that to that circle and develop a really powerful bond with men, which I refer to as that sacred brotherhood. When you put men and women together, it's powerful. It's an amazing dynamic to bring men and women together. And I certainly do a lot of those workshops. But I find that there's always kind of this interesting posturing and dynamic between men and women, just because of who we are and what we're conditioned in, that when we've separated them out and I let women just be with women and men just be with men, we can get to the heart of some of the things that maybe it's a little more challenging to address or speak about. When you're sharing that with men and women. You can use Grace on a daily basis in a variety of ways. The whole workshop is based in life practices. So we use the body as an incredible teacher to bring us back to our nature. So how I can use it on a daily basis, each woman and or man who experiences Grace or Grace Revealed comes out of the workshop with their own number one primary practice that they'll bring into their life on a daily basis. That could be something about something they'll practice around being ever more mindful or interrupting some of the conversations or beliefs that are limiting them, and that they have a specific practice or a way to come back into their body. And in moments where they typically would respond historically with control or reaction, they now have a practice for them to pause and experience the power of that and then respond versus reacting. And a lot of that is because of what they've been practicing in their body. So for instance, I use a posture called neutral, which allows men and women to pause, to reflect on what's happening and how they're responding in that moment, and then come back to how do I choose to respond in this moment so that I'm not reacting to life, but I'm actually responding and designing and choosing how I want to live my life moment to moment in every day. So that's one of the ways. Also, they leave with practices to bring them back into their body and reconnect. So perhaps they decide they'll integrate a yoga practice in their life, or they'll begin to integrate dancing or meditation or journaling. So there's daily practices that they could integrate for them to take the experience of those 3 days, reflect on it out in their life, and then make new choices to create new outcomes and results. I designed the primary. One is that power of pause, to reflect. So we have experiences, we reflect on those experiences, and then we look at how to apply those. How do those apply directly to my life? And that is a tool in itself. No matter what experience or event I have in my life, if I can stop and reflect on it, see what I can learn from it, and then look at how to apply it so that I can begin to shift the outcomes I'm having, have new results. To have new results takes new thinking. To have new results takes new practices. So they can actually create that, new results and new outcomes, by doing that very thing. But I designed it around 7 to 8 postures. Some groups ask for 8 postures, but I designed it around 7 postures. And each posture is, how do I experience a way of being for living in my body? So it's not just conceptual, it's how do I experience that way of being in my body? And how do I anchor that in my body in a way that I can come back to it really quickly? So those 7 postures support people in seeing the different aspects of their wholeness and how to live an ever more wholehearted life. Because I think, like I said earlier, we're bombarded with information and conditioning around who we should be. And I think every human being on the planet has a responsibility to know themselves. Their greatest resource is, my greatest resource is myself, my life. And so for me to know that resource and know how to utilize it and bring that in contribution, I think that's one of the most powerful and is the most powerful place to live, is to realize I'm my greatest resource. And if I don't like the outcomes or the results that I'm creating in my life, that I have the power to change that. And I literally could change that in 3 days by changing the way I think, changing the choices I'm making, and therefore changing the outcome or the results. And I've seen incredible results. Over the last 20 years, I've seen amazing results with both men and women that have literally transformed how they're living their life and therefore living a life they love.